Oh, this tablet. Oh, God. From the WDWL TV Multiplex, live from Grumpy Studio, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of this station, the grumpy old man, me, and the grumpy disco vulture. Take your bow. Oh, straight. That's it. Look at the camera. Bow. Nice. There you go. There you go. Okay. Very nice. How you can screw up a bow, I'll never know. But back in your corner. Back behind your disco light. There you go. Oh! This microphone don't look right. Why is it? Something's not right here. Oh. Uh-oh. Hang on. Oh, come on. There we go. Come on. Get in there. Get. What the hell's going on with this thing? I had it in the wrong mount. But now it dropped down. Let me try the other mount again. We'll leave it like that for now. You know, I don't know why that goofy mic last night all of a sudden went to echo mode. And luckily it was only on this end, because it was like the snap of a fingers. I'm talking, I'm in the middle of a sentence, and all of a sudden it's echoing like fuck in my ears. So, Kathy beat Nomad. You're all, I'll tell you what. You got it every night. You're first in the door. I love it. Probably we're first in the door at the bakery too, you know. I still can't get over that. With, you know, the billions of people on Earth, and as vast as the internet is, what are the chances that you and I could have been in the same bakery at the same time? And then you show up here out of all the YouTube channels. It's amazing. I was telling my friend about it today. I was like, you won't believe this. And he goes, no, I won't. I said, can I tell you the story? And even he was flabbergasted. He was like, the wonders of the internet. I'll tell you, it's going to boggle my mind forever. It really is. Get over it, Grumpy. Get your mind back together. But it's utterly mind-boggling. I just... And, you know, not to mention walking in to St. John's Funeral Home and seeing that newspaper article on the wall and the address of my first house. And then, you know, I kind of got the third degree. And then that's when I said, well, the goddamn living room floor had a big sag in it from the goddamn cathedral organ that was in there. And, you know, the more I thought about it, everybody referred to him as Old Man Stepyansky. Now, I don't know if he was a crab ass. I never asked my father. But anybody in the neighborhood, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're living in a house Old Man Stepyansky lived in. So I don't know if he was a crab ass or if he irritated the shit out of him with organ music. But I'll tell you what. The sag in that living room floor, it literally, it was the house was built back, I think, in the 1800s and had been, you know, updated over the years. And I'll never forget when there was a slide panel in the bathroom, of all places. And I slid the panel back and, you know, a bunch of shit come down on me. And I'm looking in the attic with a flashlight. And it must have been 12 inches of corn cobs. And from what I found out was back in the day, that's what they used for insulation. But all the way across the attic, corn cobs. And then in the kitchen was a trapdoor. And there was they call it a root cellar. It was probably about 8 foot in diameter. And it was all dirt. Dirt floor, dirt. The house, I believe the beams were 12 by 12. Those were some big goddamn trees. But you can imagine what the weight of that organ was if it bowed a 12 by 12 inch beam. My grandfather was like, screw it, put a couch over it. And that's what we did. We put the couch over the sag in the floor. And the cat loved it. Because the cat would crawl under the couch and it had its own little area to sleep in. The main bedroom was about 8 by 8. And the second bedroom was about 6 by 6. And no closets. No closets. They had in the dining room was a big armoire. That's where you hung your clothes. No, that was the days before closets. But it had a living room, dining room. The kitchen was about, I'll say 8 by 10. And the washer and dryer had to go in the kitchen. And then there was a canned goods cupboard off the kitchen. And then a bathroom that basically if you shut the door and farted, your ears popped. That's how tiny the bathroom was. The bathtub was about, if you could only take a shower. The bathtub was so goddamn small, if you tried to take a bath, your knees were under your chin. That's how tiny the goddamn bathtub was. And it was a clawfoot tub. I mean, for one person or two, it was the perfect little house. Definitely couldn't raise a family in it, but I should have kept it. My grandfather, he offered to give it to me. And I was like, you know, I'm in my 20s. I don't want to be a landlord. So I gave it back to him. And he rented it out. And the tenants were assholes, so he threw them out. And they rented it out again. And those tenants were assholes, and he threw them out. And I says to him, I said, now you know why I didn't want to be a landlord. Look at the bullshit you went through. And then finally he sold it. Although he worked a hell of a deal. He sold it minus the garage. Because that was originally what he bought the house for. And how he worked the deal out, I don't know. I think what they did was they had the property resurveyed. And the lot went up to the garage. And then they kind of attached that property onto my grandfather's property. But yeah, it was a riot. The guy that bought the house, he was like, oh, a nice big garage. And my grandfather said, no, the garage don't go with the house. And it was, oh God, it was a huge garage. You could almost get 2 cars in it. But he had a big workbenches down the side. And it was a neat little house, I'll tell you that. Not to mention, it was like 5 minutes from the market. I would walk up 29th Street to Lorraine, 29th and Lorraine down to 25th and Lorraine, cross the street, and the market was right there. It was, as a matter of fact, I was in the neighborhood about 8 years ago, and the woman that owned it at the time, it was like a little dollhouse. She redid the outside, and she put fancy shutters on it, and like they had back in the day where the shutters were on the outside of the house and you pull them shut. You could hide the windows. She did that, and then she had a custom wooden door made that dated back like to the retro 1800s. It was a dollhouse. It was cute. I wanted to see the inside, and she was like, no. I said, this was my house. And she goes, was. I said, okay. That's what my landlord appreciates about me. I never call him for nothing. Nothing. I fix everything. Matter of fact, I don't want him around. Stay on your side of town. Don't come over here. But no, I'm the kind of tenant everybody would love to have. If something needs repaired, I fix it. I didn't like the cheap ass faucet he had installed in the kitchen. So I went to the homeless depot and I got, as a matter of fact, it's kind of neat. It's antique brass and the water faucet handles are like L's. And it's got the fountain faucet. I love it because it raised the faucet above the sink because the cheap ass piece of shit he had on there, you'd turn the water on, it would splash up in your face. So I've got one, it's a big gooseneck, but no sprayer. Same thing in the bathroom. I've got one of them in the bathroom. As a matter of fact, I just ordered a new toilet seat because I'm changing the color of the bathroom. So I ordered the seat in powder blue. I don't bill him for nothing. He don't even know what's going on. It needs fixing, I fix it. Blah. I had heard years and years ago, somebody said, always keep your landlord at arm's length. I keep mine more than at arm's length. I keep mine like 5 miles. We never talk. I like it that way. And I'm sure he does too. Evidently, Nomad must be doing that thing called work. I didn't hear from him today at all. And he's not here. And Miss Trivia Player isn't here. Just you and me. At least I'm not talking to myself. Oh, St. Patrick's Day. That's probably why a lot of the people aren't here. Although, I think in England, St. Patrick's Day is gone already, or almost. I just remembered that. It's another day. Now, back in the day, when I worked for the county, on St. Patrick's Day, it was the one day you could come back from lunch blistered. Yeah, you could come back. They'd be like, okay, sit him over in the corner. Don't let him talk to nobody in the public, And then after work, down to a good Irish pub, Fagan's. I love that place. It had 2 rooms. One room was where the bar was. And then the other room, they had a big overstuffed leather couch and a fireplace. Oh, it was the neatest place. And with St. Patrick's Day here being cold most of the time, it was nice to sit in front of that. And what we used to do, we would let somebody sneak out early. We covered for, it was a coin toss. Okay, who's going to sneak out? And then they would go down to Fagan's and save the couch so that the rest of us could come down. And they always had Irish music group playing. Oh, it was a neat bar. It really was. And we got to go to the parade. So you'd come in, sign in, do a little work. Parade time. Downtown. Watch the parade. Have a few brewskis. Come back to work. And then 4:30, quitting time, down to Fagan's. We had this, I still remember his name. Ray Snegowski, Polish. Ray Snegowski. On St. Patrick's Day, he would pin a $100 bill to his shirt. And he'd tell everybody, well, I'm wearing my green. Yeah, he'd walk in, pin $100 bill to his shirt. There's my St. Patrick's Day green. Okay, Ray. Go sit at your desk now. And he used to celebrate St. Stanislaus Day. And he'd wear red and white. Now, on St. Patrick's Day, he wouldn't wear green. No, just his $100 bill. But on St. Stanislaus Day, he had red slacks, a white shirt, red tie, red socks. And if you didn't wear red and white, he got offended. Ray, I'm not Polish. But that's the way he was. Had a big, Christ, his mustache came down to here. It was like a big broom underneath his nose. I'm like, Ray, how do you eat? That mustache hangs down the middle of your chin, you know. We had some weird characters. All right. You know exactly where I worked. Right at the corner of West 3rd and Lakeside. I worked at the Title Bureau. And the courthouse was just up the street. And the building on the corner of 3rd and Lakeside was 5 floors. And on the top floor was Wixie 1260 with Mike Ranieri and various other disc jockeys. Well, Wixie was up there, WHK was up there. There were 4 different radio stations broadcasting from upstairs. But yeah, Cleveland radio station was right at the top of the building. Where I got ripped off for $1,000. I'll never forget the day. We were in the middle of doing a mock broadcast. And we were in the booths. And in walked these 2 guys in suits and ties, you know. And everybody was like, we got visitors. So we were putting on our best broadcast, you know, our mock broadcast. Until one of the secretaries come in and says, fellas, you got to step out of the booth. We going to meet the visitors? Yes. Not the visitors we wanted to meet. Yeah. Two guys from the Federal Communications Commission shut the school down right then and there. Oh, Mike Ranieri he was insane. He was absolutely insane. Matter of fact, I think they probably got him right from Cleveland Psychiatric Hospital. Oh, he was crazy. Fun guy to be around, but he was crazy. Remember when he started the slogan, Wixie's Gone Bananas? And he had a banana outfit made. He looked like Tarzan. But he was covered in bananas. He was insane. And I'm trying to think some of the other disc jockeys, Joe Finan, Jeff and Flash. Those two, Jeff and Flash, they thought their shit didn't stink. How they had a follow? Well, people, listened to them on the radio, thought they were cool, but they were arrogant assholes. But it was cool having the radio station upstairs. And then it got bought out. I can't remember. Oh, something communications. They owned about 100 radio stations across the United States. And then that's when basically they went FM. They converted the station because remember, Wixie was AM, 1260 AM. And then it got converted to FM, and like right now, WMJI is FM, 105.7. But yeah, that was Mike Ranieri. Wixie's Going Bananas. And he would call. He would go through the phone book and call somebody at random. And if you answered the phone, Wixie's Going Bananas, you got like $1,000. For real. And he had people all across Cleveland and, well, northeastern Ohio answering their phone. Wixie's Going Bananas. But he would just, out of the phone book. Okay, Susan Miller, we're going to call. But he wouldn't give the name. He would say, okay, we're going to call somebody here in Cleveland Heights. And if you answered, there were actually 2 or 3 people that actually answered the phone that way. And the one woman, he woke her up. Now, imagine your mindset. To be sound asleep, your phone rings, and you go, hello, Wixie Going Bananas. But yeah, he would just open the phone book. But there were a couple of people he called, they told him off. He had the bleeper was going. You asshole calling me. Beep, 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 beep. Luckily, they were on a 7-second delay. But yeah, that was Mike Ranieri's gimmick. But he was crazy. Although, him and the other disc jockeys put that Wixie was number one for ages. They took the broadcasting award every year for being number one in Ohio. And then, like I say, this wasn't Worldwide Communications. It was something Communications bought the station and then converted it to FM. And old AM went bye-bye. Although, right now there's a big lawsuit going. All the auto manufacturers are involved in this. Well, they're the defendants. It's a nationwide lawsuit brought on by the AM radio stations. Because in the new cars, you don't have an AM radio. You can't get AM on the radios in the new cars. It's something about the grounding system in the cars. But yeah, that AM radio station conglomerate across the United States is suing all the auto manufacturers because you can't get AM. And I didn't believe it at first until I went over to my next door neighbor's little Hyundai. And I turned the radio on, FM only. The only way you could get AM is if you use that app on your cell phone. But the radio doesn't have AM on it at all. So the auto manufacturers have, I think it's the 2026 model year. So it would be like September of this year. They have to figure out a way of putting AM on the radios. And then today, I was having a good time. I was watching all this sovereign citizen bullshit on Van Bellen's channel. Where he finds all this stuff is amazing. And he gets those videos up before anybody. He's got to be on the computer 24/7. But, oh, God, I was laughing my ass off at some of the shit today. And then, what I wasn't aware of, have you ever seen that device called the grappler? It throws a net around the wheel to stop the car. The wheel gets all tangled up in the net, and then the cop stands on the brakes. I didn't know Parma had a grappler. I'm going to take a ride out, and I'm going to ask if I can look at one. And then I'm going to ask them, after you deploy that grappler, how do you wind it back up? Because I'm sure they just don't cut the net and throw it away. But I'm going to take me a ride out to Parma Police Department. Look who's here! The Irishman with a wrench. Were you out celebrating today, Nomad? Were you tipping little green beer today? And I'm trying to think, was it Chicago? They dye the river green. I think it's Chicago. I'm not putting it. Although they dyed the river green yesterday. Nomad went to work dressed as a leprechaun today. I actually forgot all about it. And then I got about 6 text messages from my friends with all kinds of St. Patrick's Day shit. I mean, back when I was younger, it was fun. Go to the parade, then go, okay, all right, Kathy, do you remember Slyman's Deli? It's like 26th and Superior or somewhere over there. One of the main places known for corned beef sandwiches. You get a corned beef sandwich, it's like this. There's got to be 2 pounds of corned beef on that goddamn sandwich. But back in the day, you know, when I worked for the county, I worked downtown. Go to the parade, go down to Slyman's, get a corned beef to go, come back to work. Everybody's tongue would be hanging out to here while you're eating that corned beef. It was literally a 2-day sandwich. And what they would do is you got a sandwich and 2 extra slices of rye bread. So you could literally make another sandwich. Of course, you know, back in the day, corned beef sandwich was like $5.95. It's $18 now. Although, like I say, it's a 2-day sandwich. Easy. I used to watch. There was a guy that would be slicing the corned beef. And he drove everybody crazy because he rocked back and forth. You know, the slicer would be going, and he knew by a handful, and he knew by eye. And he would just grab that big pile of corned beef and put it on a slice of bread, and then it would go down the line. You know, they'd put mustard and horseradish and dill pickle and slice it and wrap it up. But he would just be racking back and forth, stand at that slicer, reach up, grab a handful, set it down, wait for the slicer to pile up. And every sandwich, it was amazing, was all the same size. Of course, you do that for a living, you know. But those sandwiches, they were huge. I mean, even like right now, $18, well worth the price, because Slyman's, they always got the best corned beef. And daily. Now, I haven't been down there in years. People would line up, starting like at 10:30. Because they opened, now Slyman's was open from 12 to 2. That was it. Now they would have breakfast. They'd be open from like 6 in the morning until like 8. Jenny's here. And then they would close at 8. and they would open at noon for lunch. And at 10:30, the line would go down the street. That's how popular Slyman's was back in the day. And then over on this side of town, Pearl and Brook Park and Pearl, here's a name for you, Kathy, Benny Shapiro's. Remember Benny Shapiro's? That was another place for corned beef. And right across the plaza from Benny Shapiro's was Peaches. Remember Peaches, Kathy? Were you out celebrating today, Jenny? Were you tipping some cocktails? You have your green on today? I'm waiting for Kathy. She's probably going, Peaches. Come on, you had to know what Peaches. Everybody knew what Peaches was over here. One of the biggest music stores in northeastern Ohio. Peaches was in an old grocery store. And it was huge. They would just have rows and rows and rows of like 45s and 33s and cassettes. Because, who the hell? They did something like Man's Chinese Theater. The sidewalk out front. Was it, I'm trying to think whether, was it Springsteen? Somebody signed the concrete. I can't remember if it was Springsteen or brain freeze. Although that's over 50 years ago. But yeah, good old Peaches. They got a lot of my money between 45s and 33s and cassettes. I probably have easily 300 cassettes. They're out in a box in the living room. But there got to be easily 300 in there. Easily. I'm trying to think. Well, my 45s and 33s, I cut that collection way back. It was too much shit to lug around. I probably have 245s and about 500 LPs at one time. Holy shit. I had crates, milk crates, full of records. It got too much shit to move. One day it was like, here, everybody pick through, take what you want, because I already picked through and took what I wanted. But cassettes, easily 300. Because I still have, where is it? Well, the CD player's hanging up on the wall there. I have a portable CD player still in the package, unopened. And I've got a cassette player. I think it's under the console somewhere. Remember that? We used to have our portable cassette players. And then from the cassette players, we had the portable CD players. Clip it on your belt. Yeah, I have a brand new CD player right up there hanging on the wall. Still in the factory plastic. And under the console, either under this console or the other console, I have a brand new, never opened. And all my friends are like, use the damn thing already. It probably don't work. Well, it's brand new. Because I've got 2 CD players. That one's still in the package. And then I think out in the car, I have the other one. Because you just plug it into the radio. Set the radio for aux, and then plug the CD player into the radio, and you can play your CDs in the car. Kids look in the car and go, "What the hell you got in the front seat, Grumpy?" It's a CD player. A what? A CD player. What's a CD player? This thing right here. It plays these little tiny records. I probably have, in the console in the RAV4, there's got to be 50, 60 CDs. Although the RAV4 had a CD player from the factory. And right now is a CD stuck in it. I can't get it out. The CD player won't work. I don't know what went haywire. One day I put the CD and in it went, and there was a bunch of funny noises, and it hasn't worked since. And the CD is stuck. I think it's one I burned, so I'm not that worried about it. Matter of fact, I still, believe it or not, burn CDs. Oh, you're going way back. They did away with them eons ago. Yeah. When I had my Ford Explorer, the CD player was in the console. Neckbeard's here! And look, he's in green for St. Patrick's Day. Now, how many... Now, does your CD player have the removable, like you have 5 or 6 CDs in a cartridge, and you drop it in? Or do your CDs just go in it? Because mine used to have like a cartridge. You would load like 5 or 6 CDs in it, and then you would drop the cartridge in, and play whatever. And you always had a bunch. Like with me, I had like 6 or 7 extra. I could carry around like 50 CDs, but mine was in my when I had my Explorer. It was in the console. I miss that Explorer. Oh. I had a 96 Ford Explorer. And the damn, they made them for off-road. So there was a skid pan under the front bumper, and then there was a cage to protect the gas tank. Well, the gas tank laid right on the cage. And of course, in between the gas tank and the cage, all the crap and the salt and everything would get. And the gas tank rusted out. And I didn't know it. I fill the tank up, and I'm driving along and I look and I'm like, why have I got half a tank of gas? I just filled this thing. And I was like, oh, some kid in the neighborhood. So I bought a locking gas cap. I filled the tank again. Next day I'm driving to work. I got half a tank of gas. And I get out and they were like, and it was winter. Well, I never paid attention in the driveway. And, well, the gas tank was fucking leaking. And they wanted a fortune to swap the gas tank because of that big goddamn cage that Ford had bolted on the frame rails. So I ended up selling it. But boy, I miss that thing. The only thing is that it had that goddamn V6 in it. Engine was gutless. That was the only drawback to it, was that goddamn V6 engine. And then, of course, here we go. Ford plant t-shirt, work shirt, V6 engine plant, where my sister works. Of course, she's building the new V6s, not back in 96. Yeah, that still boggles everybody's mind when there's, where's your sister work? Oh, at the Ford plant. Oh, is she a secretary? No, she builds engines. Like, really? Yeah, she works both plants. She works the 4-cylinder plant, and then she works the V6. They shift her back and forth. And it's amazing the engines that they build here in Cleveland go all over the United States and Canada and Mexico. I told her, I said, you might be building an engine that's going down to Mexico. She goes, I don't care. It's an engine. Really? Wow. I don't know if it's still there. I know the Chrysler stamping plant is gone. I know they tore that down. And then when what were they building over there? The Cobalt. When that plant closed, goddamn, that city almost went fucking bankrupt. Because everybody, the Twinsburg, when GM closed the goddamn plant in Twinsburg almost went bankrupt. As a matter of fact, it's like a ghost town out there. Or it was after the plant closed, because like all the little mom and pop restaurants, they went out of fucking business. Because there was no work. And now they're building the fucking Hummer out there. That's a joke. Electric Hummer. I heard that plant's on the verge of bankruptcy out there. Although, $180,000 for a goddamn Hummer? Prices of cars are unreal. You know, back in the 70s, like a Ford Thunderbird was like fully loaded $4,200, which was big money back in the day. Now, the average, like, we'll call it a strip out. Although, you know, back in the day, a strip out was a stick shift and you didn't even have a radio. The average car is like $38,000 for, you know, a little shoebox. Matter of fact, the guy down the street from me just bought a new Dodge Ram. I think it's a 2500. It's not the 50, it's a 2500. Like $92,000. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I can imagine what the payments are. Holy shit. I am really out of touch with wages today. Totally. Because in order to, and I mean, besides a car payment, you know, you got a house payment. You got utilities, of course, food. What are people making for wages? I mean, you know, like the McDonald's up the street from me, you know, starting wage, $18 an hour. But if you're a white collar worker, what are you taking home a week for a paycheck? $5,000? I am so out of touch, it's unbelievable. I mean, like, my buddy's grandson takes home in a week what I get a month in Social Security. And he's complaining he ain't making enough money. I said, try living on what I'm living on. But his weekly paycheck is actually more than what I get a month. And he's bitching. I need a raise. We got a raise in Social Security in January. 2.5%. You know what that boiled down? $9 a month. That's what my raise was. $9 a month. $1.10 an hour. I think when I started at the county, I was making like $1.25. Maybe $1.30. I think it was no. I started out at $1.25, and after 6 months, I got a nickel for a raise. I tell kids that today, and they're like, what? Yeah. I went from $1.25 to $1.30 an hour. Whoa. They don't believe it. I said, yeah, I was making $1.25 an hour working for the county. Oh, Grumpy, no. Yeah. Although prices were a lot different back then. But yeah. So I am really out of touch with what wages are for a white-collar worker. I know what my sister's making. Holy shit. Although, with the last contract, Ford did away with the pensions. When they all went on strike, everybody went out, we're going to show them. Everybody lost the pension. So instead of a pension, they got a 401k. But back in the days of the pensions at, the big three, that was a good monthly income. I think she told me, let me think, it's going to hurt my head. With benefits, she's making like $46.75 an hour at the engine plant. I can't fathom that. And she sucks up all the overtime she can get her hands on. She works weekends. Overtime is time and a half. If you work a Sunday, I think it's double time. And if you work a holiday, triple time. She volunteers for every holiday. I'll work. Well, yeah, $46 an hour times 3. And you're guaranteed a minimum of 4 hours. You could come into work and they say, oh, we don't need you, go home. Guaranteed 4 hours at triple time. Not bad. Although it took her forever to get in there. I think she had an application in like 3 years. And then, these goddamn union employees are crying that they're not making enough money. Yeah, the last strike, when the big three all went out, they screwed themselves because they Ford said, okay, we'll give you the pay increase. No more pension plan. You get a 401k. And they were like, oh, shit, we went on strike for this. Yeah, they screwed themselves. I hope they learned a lesson. Quit being so fucking greedy. I think she told me her prescription plan, $5 deduct, $5. No matter how much the prescription is, they pay $5. I wish I had that. I have one prescription. It's $178 a month. And I have 5 different prescriptions. When that girl rings the register, my heart stops. They got to give me CPR. I said, oh, I'd like to walk in and pay $5. Here you go. And then they complain. Oh, they don't stop and think. They're the ones that are driving the price of the car up. Of course, along with, the cost of materials, but when you factor in them wages, no wonder an average F-150 is 80 grand. I have a friend that ordered a stripped out F-150. Like back in the days when you got a pickup truck that had a single cab and not 4 doors and just a standard. You can get them. You have to special order them. Short bed, single cab, no luxuries, nothing. He had to wait 9 months because that's how few they build. He said, I don't want just like back in the day when we got the F100. It was a strippy, no radio, 3 on the tree, 6-cylinder engine, manual steering, no power, manual brakes. Ford did away with it, when they, with the F-150, but yeah, he ordered one of them. He said, that's what I want, just that. And you can't get a manual anymore. He placed the order. It took him 9 months to get it. I see these goddamn pickup trucks. They're like Rolls Royces. Back in the day, a pickup truck was a work truck. Can you imagine taking an $80,000 or $90,000 F-150 out into a mud pit construction site, and having mud up to your knees and getting in that truck? No such thing as a work truck anymore. And then today, my next door neighbor calls. Now, she don't ask. She tells me, Wednesday morning, you got to have the Nissan on the street, and you got to move the RAV4 back on the pad behind the house. I said, the RAV4 don't run. Well, it don't make no difference. You got to move it. I said, why? Well, they're cutting my tree down. Yeah. Well, it's in the way. You got to move it. Not, gee, Grumpy, I'm having my tree cut down. Is there a possibility maybe you could move the RAV4 on the concrete pad behind your house? Because we need that space in front of the garage so they can cut the tree down. No. She calls me. You got to move them. 9 o'clock. Got it Wednesday. 9 o'clock. They got to be out of there. Excuse me? I said, you want to come over and help me push? What? I said, well, that's the only way a goddamn RAV is going to move. We got to push it, and then somebody got to steer it behind the house. It don't run. No. You got till 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. I would have given her a piece of my mind. But she gave me the RAV4 4 years ago. When she moved down to Virginia, it probably won't make it, so I'll give it to you. Okay. I was going to tell her, hey, you can't ask. You call me and you bark at me on the phone. They're going to be here at 9 o'clock. I can't push it by myself. Because it's got to come down. And then somebody got to turn the wheel so that we can push it back. I mean, it'll take like 15 minutes. I can't do it by myself. But to call me this morning. You must have it moved by 9 o'clock. What happens if it's 9:01? Yeah, well, part of the problem is the tree is hanging. Matter of fact, I'm surprised in a good wind the tree hasn't landed on the RAV4 because it's dead. It's been dead. You know, 2 years ago, she got the estimate to cut the tree down. 2 years. All of a sudden now, I have to jump through a hoop to get the RAV4. See, now one good thing. Behind my house, I have a big concrete pad. Because my buddy's parents, who lived here, his father didn't like backing out of the driveway. So he had part of the backyard concreted. So in the morning he would back out of the garage onto the concrete pad and then pull out the driveway. He couldn't back up very well. So he didn't back in the drive. He would pull in, put the car in the garage, and then in the morning, so I have this big concrete pad. But somebody's got to push, and somebody has to steer to get the car on the pad. So she told me, you got all day tomorrow. Get it done. They'll be here, 9 o'clock. So tomorrow, when she's out screwing around in her backyard, I'm going to say, hey, come on over here. I need you to steer the car. Because if you want it moved, somebody got to steer it while I push it. Luckily, it's, RAV4, not that big. It rolls pretty easy. But I can't push and steer. But you had to call me. Then she knew she pissed me off. Because all day she's been sending me St. Patrick's Day bullshit text messages. Floating shamrocks and dancing leprechauns. And everybody wonders why. I'm 3 sandwiches short of a picnic. Did we lost Nomad somewhere. I haven't seen him in the chat for a while. Nomad, are you celebrating St. Patrick's Day? Then I had to run to the store. I was out of cat treats. You don't want to be around a little cute kitty that'll turn into a fucking mountain lion if he doesn't have his cat treats. So I get back to the cat food or pet food aisle, and the whole rack is empty. No cat treats. I'm like, uh-oh. So I saw one of the assistant managers. I was like, hey, Cat treats. Well, we had some kids call off today. Well, yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. I said, stock in the warehouse maybe? Well, yeah. Can you bring out a box? Well, what flavor? I don't care what flavor. I need some cat treats. Oh, I guess so. And she goes back in the warehouse. She comes out with a box. Will beachside crunch be okay? I don't care what they are. Are they cat treats? Yeah. Give me several. The store was like a ghost town. Half the shift called off. Now, I would think, although if it was me, they'd get a week off. I'd give them a week off. You want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Good. You can have 4 more days to celebrate. But no, you can't do that today. But yeah, half the crew called off. They had 2 cashiers. Lines were back. There was lines at the service desk. I'm standing there. Usually it takes me about 10 minutes to check out of the store. 40 minutes. Now, I came in for 5 items. Took me 40 minutes to check out. And I'm thinking, why aren't all you people celebrating St. Patrick's Day? What are you doing in the store shopping? Let's see. I don't know, maybe they could write them up. But I know they can't really do a lot of discipline. But yeah, half the shift. We're going to the parade. And you know what's bullshit? I'm sure they all put in to get today off. And the manager, you know, you can only give so many people off. We have a store to run. Well, the little darlings that didn't get the day off called off. Them, I would reprimand. I'd say, I'd give them a week off. Don't bother coming to work for the next 5 days. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day on an extended time off. So no stock got put out. Like I say, the assistant manager had to go back in the warehouse and get me a box. Will these blue cat treats work? I don't care what color the package. Give me a handful. Because Friskies, they got a red package, an orange package, a red package, a blue package, a green package. Blue is beachside crunch. You know, tuna, salmon. I didn't care what it was. I need cat treats. Otherwise, my cute little fat 22-pounder will turn into a mountain lion. Oh, if I don't give him a treat, he'll grab me by the pants. Hey, you ain't walking out of this bedroom. Come here. Cat treat. Matter of fact, he bit me. Left marks. Goddamn. Yeah, I had my hand down in my pocket. All right. I'll give you some treats. I go up to the store, rack empty. I'm like, oh God, I can't go home. I need cat treats. He's spoiled rotten. So, no man. Do they do a parade for St. Patrick's Day? Like we do here? I wonder if they do a parade in Ireland. The pubs probably make a fortune over there on sin. I just wonder, I mean, you know, here it's a big parade day. I just wonder around the world if they have St. Patrick's Day celebrations like we got here. I'm not up on my British history. Oh, no parade, huh? Now, like around Buckingham Palace, do they have a St. Patrick's Day parade around the palace, or? See, over here, it's just an excuse to get fucking drunk. That's what it is. They could give a shit about St. Patrick. Oh, you just go to the... Oh, okay. Now, it's a pint, right? You get a pint. That's how they measure out your brewski, a pint. A pint of Guinness. Oh, I can't drink Guinness. I'm just wondering how much a pint is. Because, well, we got our glasses over here are more like 20 or 22 ounces. They're more than a pint. And it's like $8 for a glass of beer. And that's bar, you know, tap. What does a pint run? I'd be a cheap drunk, I'll tell you that. Can I have one glass of beer, please? $8. Yay. I remember when we used to have 50-cent beer night. $8. That's a hell of a bar tab at the end of the night. Well, speaking of bar tabs, I think it's time to do our sign-off tab. Let's see if... Boy, yesterday this thing was going crazy. It was playing by itself. No. No! Opening theme to the Twilight Zone. Where did it pick that? Oh, this tablet. Twilight Zone. Jesus. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, 7 p.m. Thank everybody for popping in on St. Patrick's Day. Have a good rest of your day, evening, afternoon. I appreciate everybody for being here. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And with that, everybody have a wonderful rest of your day or night. And we'll be here again tomorrow.